Have you heard anything more about when you can go home?
No, not yet.
And are you all right? Can I get you anything?
I'm fine, thank you.
And when's your next physio?
What are you doing? I mean, I thought I made it pretty clear that I just don't want you here.
Yes, you did make that clear. But I'm just going to keep showing up because that's what friends do.
Okay, so Marilyn, I don't think we are friends. I don't.
Okay.
Well,
It's okay, Uncle.
thank you. I'm sorry. I need to just go and check on her, okay? Marilyn, are you okay? Marilyn.
Marilyn, what's happened? What have you said to Marilyn this time?
Can you not?
Rue, how is this helping?
Well, you know what's not helping, Dad, is having Marilyn in my face every second of the day, reminding me why I'm here. So just please don't.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Where is the DJ? This is not what I ordered.
Oh, sorry. We've only got lyric, unfortunately.
Seriously, you need to get a
Half-
DJ.
Half of lyric.
Oh yeah, not even a full lyric.
Just a Rick. Just Rick.
How are you doing, Sophie? You okay?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. Not too bad. Back again. Back again.
Yeah, another week.
Yeah, another week, but not many left. Not many
I
left.
know. I think we've
Don't-
only got 3 more, including this pod. We've only got 3 pods to go this year, haven't we?
Yeah, really sad. Really sad. Oh,
God. How fast has this year gone?
blink of an eye. Is that?
Has.
It's not just me then. You feel the same.
No. I remember having conversations with you last break when we were like having all these like ideas about what to do, you know, when we were talking about bringing Your Stay on the Bay as a new segment. That's like almost a year ago when we had that conversation.
Good grief. Madness.
How?
Madness. Well, we're nearly there. If you don't know, listener, Home and Away stops for its annual winter break on the 17th of November. Big things are coming. There's always a nice big cliffhanger for it. And obviously, as your episode companion podcast, we'll be going on a little winter break as well. So sad times, but also time for sleeping. Resting.
Yeah. Siestas are required.
There's still 3 whole weeks to go, and we're
Yeah.
obviously gonna ram it full of home and away goodness. God, that sounds really cheesy.
Ram it full.
Have you got your ticket?
Of course. I've got my ticket. You mean the murder mystery party that we're having, that
Yes.
we're hosting in Manchester in March next year?
That's the one. Yeah. How can you
Yeah.
forget? Mm,
It's not
Well-
like we haven't mentioned it before.
exactly. People have got their tickets as well. You're not on your own.
Yay!
Others are coming. Thank you, guys. We are super excited to see you. Some of you have messaged us and let us know as well that you're super excited. Somebody did email a question about it actually, which is fantastic. Keep that coming if you've got any
What was the
questions.
question? Do we need to tell other people in case it's
Yeah.
a
Well, yeah.
FAQ?
Saves you an email. So it was the venue.
Mm.
Sort of, is it a mystery as well? And that is a no. We're just confirming the venue based on the size of the
Yeah, the group.
audience. Yeah. So we have venues in mind, ready to go, but it definitely will be in Manchester City. So really good transport links. Check out the link in the description or on our social medias. And get reserved. It's absolutely free. You've just got to get there. It'll be a giggle. So get yours in. It's booking up. We're about, like I say, we're about half full. So you don't want to miss out, do you, and be disappointed. So get booked in. Sophie's got hers. Get yours. Right, we've all watched Home and Away this week, haven't we, Sophie? We are
Yes,
to go, I must assume. Would you like your headlines?
I would.
Nobody panic. Dana is saved from the clutches of evil cop detective Madden. Xander has to entertain a group of hens at Salts and calls upon Marley for some assistance. Rue forgives Marilyn, right? And Tane cooks a mysterious meal with a not-so-mysterious question for Felicity.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.
Right, as is now always, shall we start with Lyric in a Minute? Because there's been quite a lot of lyric this week, and we just need to
Yeah.
get it done with.
If we have to, come on then.
Sorry, we've got to give these lyric fans a minute. The lyric fan a minute. Have you got a stop clock timer ready?
I'm literally just walking to get it now because for the second week in a row, I have forgotten that we're doing Lyric in a Minute. Oh, I'm so disorganised, Simon, but you know this by now, so it's all fine.
That's fine. And the listener does. So it's fine.
Yes, I have got my stopwatch. Do you want to count down?
Absolutely. Shall I go?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. You'll find Remy at the beach this week, busking covers, despite him being very against it the week before. He's feeling in the zone, so he says, but Eden's reminded him that the zone won't pay the bills. They don't want to play the song that they wrote at the retreat because, you remember it? The one that was, dogging on Kirby all the time. That one, they don't want to play it. Doesn't want to make it see the light of day. So they end up busking together at some point, and Justin and Leah hear it and think that sounds lovely. And Remy says, I'll show you what we're working on, putting Eden in a right position because she really doesn't want the song to see the light of day. It was more of a personal therapy situation for her. Justin takes a look at the lyrics and says, lol. Oh, lol, like lyrics, no pun intended. Makes for raw reading, doesn't it, these lyrics? And he says, you can't use that. That's too strong. And Justin thinks there's problems if they start playing it in public. Everybody agrees. Eventually, they agree not to play the song and they're back to the drawing board.
Stop.
I've mentioned Kirby's single launch, but there we go. You'll have to watch the show if you're interested in that.
Open Door, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Something about Irene's back door, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about. Yeah.
Wide open. Vagina.
Oh, no. Poor Irene and her open back door. Oh, it'll never not be funny though. So just if you don't want us to laugh at it, shut the door. So
yeah. Well, it was shut quite a lot actually during the whole day. Speaking of which, so the big drama of the week, Cash frantically looking for Madden. You'll remember Dana was arrested and went missing somewhere between YCPD and the Bay, and everyone's worried about her. The pennies are dropping about Madden and his involvement in not being kosher, shall we say. He ends up telling Harper and Irene. So obviously everybody's having kittens now, especially Harper. Her sister's in danger. She knows what they're capable of. Back at the warehouse, you'll remember Dana's tied up with, the assailant of Madden, Captain Dumb, who couldn't get the job done, could he? And Madden's having to, he's torn up there and he's got to finish the job himself. He actually says the line, if you want a job doing well, do it yourself. So he gets the other one to scarp her. So he's got Dana all alone and she's telling him, you'll get in trouble for this. Cash will find you. And all this great, good stuff that you see on TV and films all the time. And he's like, nah, with your history of addiction and, you've been found with the same drug and you've just decided you want to end it all. So he injects her and she's slowly slipping unconscious in the dramatic way as he is scribing or carving her cries for help, which I thought initially was for suicide note, into a wood bench somewhere.
Mm.
What the hell is going on? This was nuts. Cash finally rocks up as she's like you say, slipping unconscious, and races because you remember they got that location off her phone very, very quickly. So he's raced up there, and it looks like Madden's made it look like he's resuscitating her, despite having lethally injected Dana. Did this get you excited, Sophie? This plot?
I was quite enjoying these scenes, I'll be honest. I have enjoyed the storyline. I think this guy, Madden's been really good. I've enjoyed watching him, classic evil cop. I love those kind of storylines, the bad cop almost rubbing his hands, like in Glee and sort of saying all his plans out loud and patting himself on the back about how smart he is and how he's thought this out. And, oh, yes, and what would you say? What would Dana's last words be? And as he carves them into the desk with a smirk, I've loved it's so good. Like, it's proper classic bad guy storyline, which I've lapped up. So I have enjoyed it. What's your thoughts on?
Same.
Yeah.
It's been, it's got the pulse racing.
Yeah.
It's been quite high pressure, hasn't it? And it's that age old good versus evil. Can good come through?
Yeah.
And she's innocent, but a lot. What I love about this is a lot of people have ended up implicated along the way. There will be repercussions on the back of that, as we're later find out. Cash, he's been suspended.
Much to the delight of the Twitter crowd, I'd imagine, because for weeks, well, not longer than that, months, people have been saying, how can he get away with this stuff? He keeps breaking the law and then managing to get away with it. Why has he not been suspended? We know the line now, guys. The line is not helping a fugitive. A sister of a friend. That's the line where you'll get suspended. Anything other than that, you'll be fine. But yeah, we found the line finally.
I texted you, didn't I? I jumped up and cheered in the living room, and the cat absolutely cacked it. Darted off to the kitchen.
Oh no!
Oh dear. Well, Cash.
He was almost shocked by it as well, I suppose, because he has got away with so much in the past and he's not been even reprimanded for most of what he's done, never mind suspended. He did look a bit shocked because he'd been away in the city, hadn't he? He'd been away getting, as Eden sort of said, it was interrogated by the anti-corruption team. But at that point, he hadn't been suspended. He came back and he was like, yeah, well, they're taking me seriously. And then when he got the call to say he'd been suspended, he was like, I've been suspended. And he did look shocked. And I was like, you must have seen this coming. Like, I just don't understand why you'd find that shocking. It's not a surprise, really. You took the law into your own hands. Like, it might have been for a good reason, but you're not supposed to do that. That is breaking the rules. So,
absolutely. Well, the thing is, he's gotten away with so much. Maybe he didn't expect it. It's never happened before. Yeah.
Maybe if he hadn't gone to anti-corruption cops and like highlighted the this case so much, shone a light on it so much, maybe he would have got away with some of this stuff.
That's very true. Wonder if only.
Yeah.
Before all that, I loved all the camp stuff. Whispering.
It's so good. Yes.
You won't get away with this, and I'm like, yeah.
The two confrontations between Cash and Detective Dodgy, the one in the warehouse where Detective Dodgy's like, I've been giving her CPR, it looks like she's OD'd, and Cash is like not buying a word of it. It's like, yeah, whatever, mate. And then in the second one in the police station where Cash is saying, yeah, so what happened again? And Madden's giving all the lies about, well, I came in and she's on the floor and I tried to give her CPR, blah, blah, blah. And then Cash gets the text from Rose and he's like, oh, by the way, Dana's woken up, and Madden's like, oh, that's great news. Clearly not great news. His face says it's not great news. I'm going to go and question her and see what she remembers. And Cash is like, no, you're not. Look at this text message I got from Rose, which says basically Dana has told us that he tried to kill her. You know, that whole like the conference. It was really. He probably shouldn't have done any of that. He probably shouldn't have been showing him that text message and everything else. But the way that he did it was just classic. Loved
Mm,
it. You know that,
yeah.
like you say, good versus evil. Seeing his downfall, although it was a very quick downfall, I'll be honest. But seeing the
Yeah.
downfall of the bad guy is always a good one, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, very satisfying. Very, very satisfying. And you're right. I think we have to see that downfall. It is the
Yeah.
rules. It's
Yes.
the rule. You know. What I don't like now, though, is what we're left with. So we're left. We've just mentioned, obviously, Cash he's in a position where he's going to end up. Well, he's been suspended, and we don't know what's going to happen to his position now and his career. Eden's very upset about that. She's really worried about him, and we've seen many a scene this week. She's taking it out on Harper and Dana. A very happy Harper and Dana who are celebrating her charges being dropped later. But we've also now got Irene, who has found out via Rose initially that this could be serious for her, and John. She confides in John about her worries. Look, Rose has told me there's a chance here that I could be in serious trouble for harbouring a criminal. And John initially gives it the old John treatment, the old I told you about her, crime, but it does actually say, look, let's look into it. Let's see what you're facing. I'll be a friend to you. I really loved their scenes. And she's like, thank you for not just saying I told you so. Or, and I just thought, oh, Irene.
Yeah, they're great. They're great as a friendship. I just love that he's always there for her. No matter what. They might rub each other up the wrong way, and they might, you know what I mean? They do have moments where they look like they want to kill each other. Well, mainly Irene wants to kill John, but he is just always loyal to her, always there for her, and I just love that.
Yeah, same.
Especially on the back of the fact that we both know that deep down they're both lonely, aren't they? Because they've both admitted that they are.
Yeah, this is very true. Very true. There's always that backdrop lingering, isn't there, of two lonely people, and they're just friends. 2 to 7 years.
I know. I don't think Irene can do that. She's been to jail before, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well.
No, she's longer in the tooth now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's knocked her for 6, hasn't it? That news. And she feels. I get the impression she feels like she's going around town with a target on her back.
Yes. Yeah.
Waiting for the phone call, waiting for the policeman to rat-a-tat on the back door.
Yeah. But meanwhile, trying to show a very brave face to Dana and Harper, isn't she? Because they're sort of panicking and thinking, well, what's next for us? Cash has been suspended. What's going to happen to him? Is anything going to come back on us? Because obviously Harper's just as guilty. She's been harbouring a fugitive. I don't think Dana's going to get away with it scot-free. I mean, the drug charges might have been dropped, but she still skipped, being arrested. She still perverted the course of justice.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I don't think any of them are blameless. I don't think any of them should be celebrating yet, but they are starting to, when they find out about Cash getting suspended, they do start to think, oh, maybe this isn't over. Maybe we are going to get some repercussions from this. But Irene's just like, let's just, chill and let's worry about it when it happens. And, you got to live your life and all this sort of stuff, which I thought was really good. But then in the kitchen, when she's on her own and she's up against the wall having like a mini panic attack. And I was like, oh, Irene.
No, I know that. Do you think this is going to, what I'm going to say, don't you? Do you think she's going to come off the wagon?
I hope not, but it would be quite good to see it. That sounds horrible, but it would give Irene a storyline, wouldn't it? And we've been here before. We've seen these scenes before, and she's so good. She needs something dramatic and powerful, maybe. So I don't really want her to, as a character. I don't really want her to go off the rails, but it would give us more Irene storylines, and it would give Lynn the chance to do something that's not just pouring coffee and.
Yeah, it would be good though, wouldn't it? It would
be good. It would.
And and it shows that one split decision can change your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. In all ways, really.
I think
Um,
that's it. I think everybody's one decision away from ruining their life, aren't they? There's always something that everyone could choose to do. We
mm,
know, flip of a switch, whether for good or for bad.
scary thought,
And then
really.
that
Thought,
it is, yeah.
yeah. Ooh, golly. Well, let's see where that goes. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next week with that, because I think we're at the stage where I think people are going to start getting hauled in by the anti-corruption lot, and I think it's going to make for interesting viewing. I really do, particularly as we're then a fortnight away from the season finale, so
Oh, yeah.
everything starts to sort of, you know, go up a notch, doesn't it? At that point, so
Yeah.
I am interested to see
Mm.
what this all plays in that, in that
Yeah.
season finale. What I'm not expecting the season finale is Xander not doing so well at work. You remember Mac's gone to visit, the surf prowess Ziggy and brother Dean, or mind the baby while she is a surf prowess or something or other. She's gone to visit them anyway, and she's left him in charge. Despite the whole John sitch, he proved himself by charging Johnny's 550 Australian D because he broke that whiskey bottle.
Mm.
So he must be responsible, right? Because he made him pay for that. Turns out he's completely forgotten about a big hens night booking, and it's panic stations when he remembers, or Max reminded him, for example. Which actually, this whole panic about Mac finding out, I'm thinking, actually, Mac, if this is such an important booking, why has she just dropped everything and gone to the other side of Australia? But never mind, I'll overlook it.
Yeah.
She's not completely blameless, I was thinking, watching this, but never mind.
Well, he did say that Mac had sent him an email last week, so he's had a week to prepare. And
Yeah,
really, from what we hear, he just has to get some pink decorations and a DJ. It doesn't sound like it's that difficult to prepare
you
for.
think that info would be on the email, wouldn't you?
He just didn't read it, did he? And then he gave himself an hour to get it ready. So,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to go to Yabby Creek for that stuff, mate. You can't get that from, from
Yeah.
the Summer Bay. So
Just not knocking around the surf club.
no.
So, there's frantic preparations. They end up roping in Rick, half of Rick.
Yeah, 2 remaining members of Lyric.
Yeah,
with their one song about heartbreak, which is going to go down really well at a hen party.
Well, they'll do any song really, just not karaoke. So, because you'll see the maid of honor arrive and I did not order them. Don't want a DJ. I want karaoke. I asked for pink decorations, as you say. Where's the giant penises, as someone put on Twitter the other night? Where's the straws? Where's the L plates? None of that. He put on quite a classy spread, hadn't he, of grey and silver on a table. Quite a
you mean the corporate nightmare?
Corporate nightmare, that's what she described it as.
I thought that was hilarious. It was like a conference dinner. I was like, this is not saying hen party at all. This is saying work dinner. This is saying to me.
I understand as the maid of honor, it is quite a stress to put on a hen do for a bride, but I thought she would absolutely stunk.
I could see it from both ways. So if we're to take, reading between the lines, she said she'd booked in advance. She paid a lot of money, which covered a DJ and decoration. She'd specified in her email what she wanted without being, she wasn't vague, just throw me a hen's party. She said, I want a hen's party. Here's the money. I want a DJ. I want some decorations. I want karaoke. If you paid all that money and asked for this stuff, you'd expect it, wouldn't you? So from that point of view, I can see why she's pissed off. And as you say, I wouldn't want to organise someone's hen party. I mean, brides are just crazy, and when stuff goes wrong, it's like an omen for the wedding going wrong. So I can see why she's stressing out. But you're right, her attitude's not going to make things any better for anybody in the situation, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. I maybe I'm being a bit facetious, saying You know, because you're right. She's paid for a service. She's not received it. Mac, I'm going to go back to Mac again. She should have planned a DJ booking before a week previous.
Yeah. And
Do you know what
where's
I mean?
Flick? Like Xander calls Flick, and we hear this conversation where he's like, "Oh, do you not think one of the people that actually own the business should be doing the big events?"
Mm.
And then she obviously disagrees. We don't hear her side of the conversation, do we? Because he's just on the phone. But you know, he puts the phone down and says to Marley, like, "I haven't got this. I'm screwed." But she's just celebrating at home with Tane, like celebrating the fact that they bought this piece of land. I'm sorry, but we were saying last week that she's an irresponsible business partner, and this is just proof of that. They keep saying that Flick's so changed and so grown up, and I'm like, but she shirks her responsibilities left, right, and centre for something that's more fun all the time. That's not life, dear. You've got to get to work. And
When it
I
comes
just,
to business, Flick is
yeah,
IA
yeah.
time after time after time after time, isn't she?
She's so irresponsible, so flaky. She drives me mad. Like, that's your income, that's your business, that's what you're buying your land with. So
I get the impression that Mac puts up with it though because she needed her cash.
yeah, absolutely. She needs the money. She
Mm.
still does, really, because I don't think without the lyric gigs, we're led to believe that Salt is in financial crisis.
Yeah, true.
So they need these hen parties. They need the money from these to go well, I'd imagine.
Mm.
Oh, dear.
Well, Marley has an idea to save the night, thankfully, and he loosens that top button, and he starts waltzing.
Did you notice he put more clothes on? He was wearing a vest when he was on the balcony talking to Xander. He was wearing a sleeveless vest, and he said, "I think I've got an idea." He came back in a long sleeve shirt. I was like, his idea is to put more clothes on. I don't get it.
I did like Remy's line though. Oh God, he's not going to show up, is he?
Magic Marley. Oh my God. The dad dancing though. They kept saying, "Oh, this man's got moves," and I was like my dad at a disco. This is embarrassing.
I think I saw a tweet when that was going out of someone going, "Well, these hands are easily pleased." I was like,
I reckon Xander must have got drunk by that point, with the free complimentary drinks with the night beans and shit. He must have just got them absolutely rat-arsed.
Yeah.
That they thought this was brilliant.
Yeah, I did not know where to put my face. Honestly.
Cringe. It was the way I was laughing at his dancing. I literally went, "Oh my God, dad dancing." And then the next line was, "He's got moves." And I was like, no. No. What was that square dancing thing? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah. So, just tell you what else I didn't get about this. Like, everybody's phone was in his face recording it. And then the next day he tries to go, "Oh, can you not tell Rose?" I'm like,
it's on social medias.
But also, what did you do that Rose wouldn't be have
fun? He had fun. I think Rose would be very he had fun without her. I don't think she'd like that.
Like, he came through for a friend and just entertained a few people. Like, he did nothing wrong. Like, what's all the secret about?
Unless he did do something that we didn't see because it's on at 6:30 on a
unless things are kicked on down the dodgy motel. Yeah.
Or maybe the video that we didn't see went on for much, much longer and included less of the shirt. I don't know.
Well, we need to see it. Someone sort that out. So I think there's going to be a melodrama there about that.
Tell her. Just bloody tell her. Who else was there? Because they hadn't paid for Salt to be empty, had they? They hadn't paid to hire the whole place out.
Yeah, Rose she could have walked in.
And Remy and Eden saw the whole thing. Like, half the bay was in there. So it's going to be on social media. People are going to be talking about it. He's not going to keep this from Rose for long. And the longer he does keep it, the more suspicious it is going to look, isn't it? Storm in a teacup about to happen.
Absolutely. Roll on. Yeah.
You've not got time for it, have you?
Nope.
Not got...
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
Nope. And it's all just Xander like flapping like I need to
Mm.
do it. And it's like, just tell the woman to wreck off. I didn't even speak. Ugh.
No. I
Anyway.
know.
Right. Let's talk about it. The elephant in the room. It's the Rue Marilyn feud 2023
Oh god.
/4. So take a deep breath.
Okay.
You'll see this week, Marilyn, she's all asking about Rue because she was turfed out of the hospital. Not a very warm reception last week, was it? When Rue was
No.
transferred back to Northern Districts. And she doesn't think it's a good idea that she goes to see Rue, despite Alf pushing the situation. And, you know, she even cancels her time off work, actually. She booked, hadn't she, you know, to look after Rue and things while she comes out of the hospital. She's cancelled that, you know, she's taking on shifts. And Alf's like, oi, I've had a gut full of you girls. Salt it out.
You're grown women. Yeah. Too
But I'm
right.
thinking he's saying that to the wrong person.
Yeah. Well, he does have a go at Rue eventually, because I was shouting the same thing. I was like, and tell your daughter that she's being a cow. And eventually he does, doesn't he?
Eventually, yeah, but I think Rue needs a right good backhand. Honest to God. Honest to God.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
You're not too old for a slap.
I'll do it. Oh dear.
Alf should be in Marimbula, shouldn't he? Back
Well,
with him.
I'm sorry. Can we talk about Marimbula, please? Because I can't let this go. I'm so annoyed with the storyline. I don't understand. Right, okay. Can I have a rant? Can I?
Go for it. You did
Can
say
I
you
have
would. Did say on Thursday last week that you didn't going to watch this bit.
No, and I did, and I'm kicking myself because I'm so angry. Okay, right. So when Rue was blown up and in a coma or whatever, and she was in the city for months, and we didn't see her. Martha was at her bedside. Martha was at her bedside in the city, miles away from Marimbula, so presumably was staying in a hotel, because they weren't coming back to the bay at that point. They were in the city, they were off screen. So she must have been either in the hospital sitting at her bedside or staying in a hotel at her own expense. But now Rue is wide awake and in the hospital, which is down the road from Alf's house that he owns, which is full of bedrooms. And she's not there. She's not in the hospital at Rue's bedside. She's not going home every night to the house and the bed that Alf owns. She's gone up the coast, which is about, is it a half-day drive up there? Away from her daughter, and is up there and is beckoning Alf to come and visit her and leave Rue on her own, and not saying, I'll come down and see you and Rue and visit her in hospital. We're not seeing scenes of people going, where's Martha? Oh, she's at home putting a load on because, you know, Rue needs some new pajamas. Or, oh, she's at the hospital canteen because Rue wants a coffee. They could have loads of those scenes where it would be comical still, because it's the Mrs. Columbo thing where we say that she exists but she's never seen on screen. But saying she lives in Marimbula, like, and she's there and she's beckoning Alf to leave their daughter in hospital and come and visit her. I'm like, oh my God, Mother of the Year again. What is this? What is this? Why are we so gung ho painting Martha as this absolute kidney bitch? I don't get it.
Do you know what? You're right. I think this idea of her being a silent character, that's what she is. She's off screen. We don't see her. She's a silent character. This idea of her being in Marimbula and Alf dipping to her was fine for a short to medium period. I think we've reached the point now where it's getting a little bit laughable, isn't it?
It's very comical. I mean, I think it would still be hilarious if every time we went to the hospital and everyone says, where's Martha, and she's nipped out to do something, it would still be hilarious. But at least she's not a 6-hour drive up the coast waiting for Alf to come and visit her and ignoring her daughter, even though we're led to believe she's been sat at the daughter's bedside for weeks and weeks. Now that she's awake, she's buggered off back home and she doesn't want to come to the bay. I don't get this woman at all.
I'm not being funny. It's not difficult to bring someone back from the dead, right?
No. Yeah.
And go through all that blooming palaver.
Yeah.
Can we have her back just to go and have a few scenes at Rue's bedside?
Get a different actress. If the actress that plays Martha can't do these scenes, can't commit to, you know, these scenes, get someone else, or get someone that looks like her from behind walking off to the vending machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so comical that she's just doesn't give a shit anymore.
I'd even take an AI robot Martha at this stage.
Or like a hologram of her, like just project her onto the wall next to the bed. Like, just, I don't get it. Why is she fucked off to Marimbula and doesn't care anymore now that Rue's awake? It doesn't make any sense to me. Make it make sense.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Oh, God.
Anyway, Alf wants to go there. Let's
Sorry.
let's attempt it. Let's attempt it.
I apologise. I did warn you I was going to rant about this because I'm so cross.
He wants to go there, doesn't he, Alf? Okay.
Mm.
So, but he can't because this feud's going on, and he can't rest, can he?
No.
Until this is sorted. Now, Rue overhears him on the phone to Martha, cancelling going down there. He says, "I can't go. You know, I can't leave when it's like this." And you know, this is not Rue's only frustration. You know, Rue's trying to get discharged, and Bree's being a bit lax about that. You know, and she's delaying it, and she's getting frustrated. She's getting wound up, and she overhears Alf on the phone to Martha saying, "There's no way I'm leaving here unless, you know, this is all sorted out." So next thing, she summons Marilyn back to the hospital, doesn't she? And she's all, "Yes, sir, no, sir, I'm so sorry, sir." You know, and she's and Marilyn's face lights up with absolute glee that what she says, like a sister to her. Oh my God, where's she been?
Yeah.
Because if that's what your sister would treat you like, what on earth would your other enemies do? She's just so delighted to hear that, you know, she's sorry, she's done a big U-turn on it all, that she's not really seeing the wood from the trees, and doesn't think about any sort of motive behind it, because she's also been worried that you know, Alf's cancelling his trip and all the rest of it. And then seemingly, you know, Marilyn's bouncing around the bay then, isn't she? You know, telling everyone, "Me and Rue have made up, and to cancel, I need to book leaving again." Now, Leah, she's sus from the off, isn't she? She knows Rue.
Yeah.
She knows this doesn't sound right. And off she goes back up to the hospital and has it out with her, really, doesn't she, in not so many ways. And, you know, she basically tells Leah, "I'm lying. I just need my dad to go to Marimbula." And I feel for Maz here, because, you know, she's being played like a fiddle. What are your thoughts on Rue's lies and Marilyn's, you know?
It's just getting worse, isn't it? I think Rue's just getting less likable by the episode. I wasn't liking her very much before she came back, and now I'm really not liking her. And I was quite impressed that she didn't lie to Leah. You know, the fact that she came out and said it, you know, I'm lying. I thought, okay, well, at least she's telling the truth to somebody. But now Leah's implicated. She's in on the lie, because at this point she hasn't told Marilyn, you know, that she's lying, and Marilyn's, like you say, walking around like on cloud nine, thinking, you know, I've got forgiveness from my friend, I've got my friend back, everything's going to be all right again. So Leah's, you know, having to keep this to herself, because later on there's those awkward scenes where Marilyn's in the diner saying how great it is, and Alf's there, he's about to leave, and Leah's in the middle kind of trying not to say anything because she knows that it's all crap and that, you know, Rue's lying. So it's just like, oh, for God's sake, it's so juvenile, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. She's acting like, you know, the 16-year-old Rue that we knew.
Yeah.
Today.
Yes.
I thought the same thing. I thought she's regressed to a teenager that you just want to give a right good kicking to.
Yeah.
You know, they think. I was, devil's advocate because I did this last week. A bit of balance.
Yeah.
Justin sort of said similar to Leah, didn't he?
Mm.
She is still after what's all gone on. She
Yeah.
is suffering more than anybody else.
Yeah.
You can understand to some degree the anger. What I don't like is the playing games.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
be angry. Blame somebody. If that's the process you've got to go through, go.
You mean process?
Process. Yeah. Sorry.
It was said twice this week.
I
I've took
stand
clips.
corrected. I stand
Process.
corrected.
It's a process.
Yeah. Go. Do all that. Go through it.
Mm.
I can get my head around that. What I can't get my head around is you playing games and then masquerading it as something good for your dad.
Yes. Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
Mhm.
And Mr. Stewart's going to be fuming when he finds out, because this is a secret at the moment from Mr. Stewart. But now, since she's told Leah that I'm lying, and eventually she tells Marilyn the same thing. By the way, I lied. I think she says something like, "Is Dad on his way?" She makes sure that he's in the car on the way, and then she goes to Marilyn. "Oh, by the way, I didn't mean any of that stuff I said. It was all crap. And I don't want you anywhere near me, and we're still not friends, and blah blah blah." That's going to come out. Alf's going to know about it. Someone's going to tell him. So
that scene that you're talking about, I actually felt physically sick.
oh,
Do you know when she's sat on the bed, isn't she, and the camera's outside in the
yes,
side of the room, and you're looking at a shot through the door, and you see Marilyn walking in, and it's written on Rue's face, isn't it?
yeah,
She's about to tell her. She's about to, crush her. And she's fussing, and she's this and that, what we're gonna do, favorite juice. And she tells her, doesn't she, that it was all lies. I want you nowhere near me, and in fact, when I get out of here, I want you out of the house.
yeah,
I felt sick.
yeah. It's horrible.
That she could be like that, everything, all the years of friendship they've been through. And Marilyn's in floods of tears, isn't she, at the diner? And Leah invites her to move in with them. Justin like eye rolling.
Justin's not wanting any of that, is he? Oh, Justin doesn't really like Marilyn that much, does he? I think he likes her, but I think he finds her a bit much. Because didn't they have a weird thing where Leah was away? Oh God, was it last year before the Heather thing? Leah was away, and Marilyn kept popping around and looking after Justin, and there was like some weird tension going on between the two of them, where he basically just wanted her to get out of his house. Do you remember this?
No, why have I forgotten this?
It was sometime last year. I can't remember exactly why, but Leah wasn't there. Maybe she was in Cyprus or wherever she goes, when she has a break. And Marilyn kept popping around to check on him and bring him dinners and make sure he was okay. And it got to the point where he was like, "I just need you to leave me alone because you're always here." I'm fine. Leave me alone. I think he's trying to avoid her sort of hanging around the house like a bad smell, and him having to, because I don't think he really understands how to talk to her or what they have in common. I don't think he really. Yeah, I think he feels a bit awkward around Marilyn. I don't know. I get that impression.
You might be right. I'm going to look out for that now, actually. Now you said it, because it hadn't twigged.
It was sometime last year, I'm sure. I'm sure we talked about it on here and how funny it was.
Ringing a bell. It's ringing a bell, actually. Yeah. Like you say, one of Leah's disappearing acts. Yeah, so I'm really worried now. Marilyn, she's at rock bottom here now. She's lost her house, her home. She's going to turf her out. And I don't think Marilyn is the kind that would pick up the phone to Mrs. Stewart and be like, "Rue's doing this."
No, she'd just move out. She'd go and live in a dodgy hotel or a caravan or something, wouldn't she?
She would. And I'm really concerned. I know she's a character, but I'm really concerned. I'm just so you know, I am really.
This is not real.
And I think Rue needs a good kick in.
Someone's going to have to bang their heads together, because eventually, this can't go on forever. Because feasibly, I was thinking about it. Where could Marilyn go long term? She can't really go anywhere long term. She can move in with Leah for a bit until Justin decides he's had enough. Then she's gonna have to move out. Irene's house is full. She could move in with John, but I don't really think that would work either. As much as I'd love it to, I don't think that would actually work. I think they'd drive each other mad eventually. So then it's either caravan or dodgy motel. She doesn't really earn enough at the diner to live in a motel, I don't think. So I don't think there's a permanent solution for Marilyn to move out anywhere, because if there was, I think she would have gone already. So this has got to be resolved somehow. Someone's going to have to bang their heads together. And I don't know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Leah? Is it going to be Mr. Stewart? Is it going to be Irene? Or is it going to be somebody from the left field that's going to come along and say, you guys, you just need to grow up? And I don't know. How do you think this is going to end?
Maybe we'll have a pepper pot intervention.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be.
Only talk when you're holding the pepper pot.
Yeah, it could be that.
Either way, I mean, whatever we think of this, whatever we think of Rue, whatever we think of what's going on between the two of them, they're playing it amazingly. We keep saying it.
Yeah.
And we'll keep saying it. And you can't help but not be invested because of their performance.
Yes.
And, you know, we're not always supposed to like everything, are we, in every character and what they do.
No,
So,
exactly.
although we talk about Rue quite a lot, you know, I wouldn't change this story, I don't think. Would you?
No. I mean, we've called her Judgy Ruru for a reason, you know. that is sticking. If she suddenly had a personality transplant now, I don't know, we wouldn't be able to call her that anymore, would we? So we'd, you know, this is just who she is now. I guess we just have to embrace it and just see what storylines transpire from here on, I guess.
Absolutely. Right. Speaking of personality transplants, Tane is hoping Felicity will have one.
Oh God.
Do you remember that whole beaming smile when John asked her about pregnancies, and it was all brought up about pregnancy tests and texting about the results and stuff, and beaming, and you and I were like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we got past that quite quickly. We kind of skirted over it because she had that whole meltdown where she ran off to the lyric house, the other lyric house, Remy's parents' house. Yeah. And she thought that was the kids thing, but it wasn't. It was the New Zealand thing. I thought we'd skirted over this. I did. Oh God.
But no, it's planted that seed, and that seed hath grown into his mind, and he's thinking now of rebroaching the subject of having children with Tane, and he's trying to get the opportune moment, isn't he? Or he's cooking a meal. He's trying to get her on a road, and that gets interrupted because Eden and Cash are home, so they end up joining the meal, don't they? And they end up sort of splintering off into boys and girls camp to talk about things. And everybody tells him it's a bad idea. Like, you're brave talking to Flick about things, and Flick's on cloud nine. And when Flick's happy and she's got over all this really, really dark time that she's recently gone through, everything just seems so heightened with her, doesn't it? Whichever way you put it, whether it's happy or not, everything is to an extreme with her. And this whole talking about the future and buying this land and mortgages, and she's more grown up than Cash. Who'd have thunk it? She's come such a long way. Would never change without you. And you just know that that's all going to come crashing down with one conversation. And Tony is insistent on pushing that conversation, takes her for a walk along the beach, and it hits her like a train. That question, isn't it? She was quite clear, Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Clear that this is what she wanted. He's, which I understand to some extent, that he's seen her change her mind on other things throughout their relationship. So he's thinking maybe it's time to reapproach this conversation to see if she might also change her mind on this subject. A pretty big subject to just flip-flop about, I might say.
Yes.
But I can understand the logic there to an extent, like vaguely. I can understand the logic, but it spoke to me more about maybe it did for you. Tell me otherwise. It told
Mm.
me a lot more about sort of Tane and settling.
Yeah.
He told her that he was okay with it.
Mm.
This has sort of exposed that maybe he's not.
Yeah.
What's your initial thoughts about this?
Not loving it, I'll be honest, so far. A little bit of trepidation with this whole storyline that's coming up, I guess.
What's your gut reaction?
I've just not loved the way that Tane's approached this. I didn't like the fact that he didn't get the chance to talk to her at the dinner because they, like you say, Cash and Needham were there, so he's had to sleep on it another night and not have the conversation with her. So
Yeah.
then he basically drags her out of work. She's at work finally. She's actually putting a shift in, and he's like, "I need to talk to you. Can we go for a walk?" And I'm like, "It's not that urgent. You've got the rest of your life. You're supposedly married for forever now. Why are you pulling her out of work to then bombard her?" And the way that he actually asked her was just awful. It was just like, okay, so you've changed your mind. We've we've done a lot of things in the last 5 years. You said you didn't want to get married when we first got together and we're getting married. You said you weren't really going to put roots down, and now we're putting roots down. How do you feel about having a baby 4 weeks after you've been raped? And you're just getting over that whole scenario. I'm really annoyed that he's done this to her. I'm really like, I understand your logic. I understand what you're saying, that he's sort of trying to see if she might change her mind about something else. I just think the timing is really bad. I think the way that he's gone about it has been really insensitive, and I'm just kind of annoyed about it, I'll be honest.
I don't blame you at all. I also am annoyed about it because it was a massive sort of
Yeah.
line. Like, like this is before we get married, before we
Mm.
go down that road. These are my lines that I
Yeah.
cross. Like, this is me, and it's for good reason. Like the upbringing she had,
Mm.
alone is enough to have to draw that line. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yes.
I agree with you. I'm angry that he's done it. What I'm
Mm.
trying to do is understand his reasoning and
Yeah.
him getting sort of washed up in the moment, sort of thing, and thinking that that door was still open to a conversation.
Mm.
She definitely closed the door.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
feel like I understood it watching it, that
Mm.
door was a door that she didn't want to open.
Yeah.
So why does he feel like he can open it now? I feel like he's just got swept up in like being really happy about the
Mm.
future. I think he's been a bit naive to think, oh, she never thought she'd buy. I mean, of course she'd buy a house. Everyone says things when they're younger, don't they?
Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't see myself getting married, or I don't see myself moving out of the city. But you'll end up in a 3-bed semi in suburb, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you all say things, don't you? And then you grow
But
as a person.
they're more temporary things, aren't they? Like, you buy a house, and if you make a mistake, you sell it and you move back to the city or wherever if you don't like living out in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a forever decision. Whereas bringing a whole person into the world is a massive, massive, massive decision that will change your life forever. And it's not something you can undo. And
And
it's just the way that he asked about it, the way that he said it. He didn't say, have you ever thought about possibly one day having children, or have you ever wavered on you? I know you don't want children, or you didn't want children when we talked about it last time, but have you ever thought about, has your mind ever wandered and thought about it? Have you ever considered it, or were you still thinking absolutely no way? But he actually said, do you want to start trying for a baby? Like, I just don't like the way that he worded the question. I found it really gross, especially after the fact that she's still reeling from a sexual assault where she went through a rape kit and had to take a pregnancy test, presumably. It's just awful. It's icky to me. It's icky.
yeah, it's beyond mad. Actually,
Yeah.
he would even go there to be, but that's our opinion. And
Yeah.
everyone's going to have one, I'm sure.
Mm.
It just doesn't sit right, does it? Beyond
No.
beyond comprehension, actually, considering
Mm.
recent events. And she explains herself again. You
Mm.
want to bring kids into this world, there's a lot of bad. The upbringing I had, I just don't want to do it, and for me it's a hard pass, you know.
Yeah.
But now that's out in the open, and you can't unsay something. And
No.
I'm sitting here thinking now she's going to be like, he's giving this up to be
Mm.
me, and he's mentioned it. He wants it really.
Mm.
And I feel like, you know, you put them on Fizzle Watch. I feel like this is going to be the main issue that unravels them as
Yeah.
people. And I think that's going to be a great, great shame, because Tane had the opportunity for the out beforehand because she was really upfront.
She was. It's not like they didn't have the conversation. I mean, I hear couples in real life, people that I know in real life, that never had the kids conversation, got married, and then one of them, you know, always assumed they'd have kids and the other one didn't, and they never had the conversation. And I'm like, whoa, like how can you get to the point where you're married and you don't have what does our future look like? What do we want? Like, I just find that mad. But like you say, she was really upfront with him. She said, you know, I don't see this happening for me. I don't think I'm going to change my mind. Here's all the reasons why, the valid reasons. And then tonight he's just gone, or yesterday he's just gone, I don't think fear is a good enough reason not to have a kid. And she's like, I think it's a really good reason to not have a kid. So they're just totally on different pages. It's just, and I feel really annoyed with him because I feel like he's wasted her time. Because he knew this when they got married, and he's wasted her time,
And
wasted his own time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And she was, in a way, brave to do that early doors, because that being so upfront about it could have lost him.
Yeah.
And it should have, if.
But she didn't want to waste his time. She didn't want to take him down the aisle knowing that he wanted kids and, you know, this was a deal breaker for him. She was upfront about it. Whereas he obviously walked down the aisle thinking, she'll change her mind one day, which really annoys me. Annoys me.
Yeah. This would have been an entirely different conversation here tonight if he hadn't had that conversation with him back before the wedding.
Yeah.
And married him and then turned around and said, oh yeah, I don't want that. We don't know each other after all. I think she'd be, you know, I think we'd be having a very different conversation now. But
absolutely.
The fact that's been means it's on him, really.
Yeah, it is. I can't see. And I just think the way that he broached it has just been terrible. I mean, it's made whatever comes out of this now, she's always going to be thinking that this is a compromise. Staying with her is a compromise because actually he does want kids. It wasn't are you open to it? You know, have you ever thought about it? It's not like a hypothetical. It's when do you want to start trying for a baby? Do you want to try for a baby? So it's pretty obvious that that's what he wants, and she'll have to decide whether she wants to stay with him and break his heart or whether to just walk away and let him pursue someone else that might give him a child that he's looking for. It's just horrible. It's a horrible. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want this storyline. I don't want this.
Me neither.
Yeah. Right side, you want to know what the people think of Tane's baby fever and Marley's dancing?
I guess.
Enthusiastic.
Yes, I do. I would love
if you have to, yeah.
But,
okay.
Yeah, might as well.
Now else to do, is there? No, surely not. Right, so it's time for your say on the Bay. So I've been digging through social medias, sauce, and reading all the comments and reactions from you people out there who have watched Home and Away in the UK this week, and I'm going to read some of these comments out to Si. But before we get on with that, just for a quick, reminder for those of you that have forgotten, we're on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, etc. And we still tweet along. Yes, Grandma is still saying tweet with the show while we watch it at 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday on 5 Star here in the UK. So check us out on your socials. Look for our account name. In most places, we're Coastal News Pod or Coastal News Podcast. Come and find us and join in the discussion. Let us know your thoughts, and we might read your comment out on Your Say on the Bay.
Mm.
There you go. So, Tane and Flick, baby fever.
Come on then. I don't
Ooh.
set you off.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
Well, Facebook. I will come clean with listeners. So the comments that I'm reading out of as of November the 2nd at lunchtime-ish, because we're having to record this a little bit sneakily early. So some of these comments are there'll be more comments I'd imagine afterwards. So if your comment's not here, it's because it's probably been on Thursday or Friday. So Facebook weirdly put a video of Tane asking Flick if she wanted to try for a baby on their Facebook Home and Away UK account before this episode even aired, which is really strange. But the comments on here have been really good, so I thought I'd read them out. So we've only just started talking about this story in the UK this week, but looking at the hashtag, it seems to be rumbling on at Ozpace still, unfortunately, because I keep seeing spoilers about this. So I think we're going to be talking about this storyline for a while yet, but it's already splitting opinion among viewers. I've seen everything from this is typical selfish Flick to Tane, you knew this when you married her, to, loads of people chipping in with stuff and different opinions, which is always quite interesting, I think, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it might be a good storyline to keep an eye on what people are thinking and whether people change their mind from what they think initially.
Yeah, because obviously the only insight we've really had online thus far is they're ahead of us. And we've been here before, haven't we? And
Yeah.
it sort of means you go into the storyline with trepidation. So it would be interesting to see what if any, difference there is.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the Ozpace comments. I've tried to sort of flick past them.
Yeah.
These are the UK ones because, like I say, they put the video on Facebook 2 days before the episode went up, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But people have already been commenting, so I grabbed some screenshots. So Maria said she's never really changed from being self-centered. I just can't warm to her. I do hope they split up. I think she either needs someone who will be her doormat, or she needs to be on her own. So Maria is not a Flick fan.
Well, I think she's already got a doormat personally.
Yeah, she has a bit really, but I think maybe Maria's saying she needs someone who's willing to be a doormat, and maybe Tane's not going to be for much longer.
I agree with her about the whole self-centered stuff, because we say it a lot, don't we? It's a flaw of us. Yeah. It's just it is part of her character, I think, isn't it, that we've come to accept, I guess. Yeah.
Eliza says, Eliza, I don't know how you should pronounce that name. It's she says she's a selfish person. She never thinks of anyone else but herself. Any drama, and she's right in the middle of it.
True enough.
True, but not everyone agrees. So Margaret King replied to these comments of people calling her selfish, and she said she may be selfish, but she's never pretended to be anything else. She said that she didn't want to have any children, so Tane should have been warned in advance. Flick is far too childish and self-absorbed to even think about having children, as they might need some of her time. So although Margaret's saying yes, she's selfish, but that's just who she is. I think Margaret's kind of like us, like she's accepted that this is part of Flick's personality. And I think some people are saying you're selfish, get over yourself, and other people are going, she's selfish, but that's who she is.
Interestingly, though, are they saying she's selfish for not wanting children? Because this is a bit of a dangerous territory.
Yes, this is definitely coming across in the comments that the reason for her not having children is because she's selfish. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And childish and self-absorbed, and she couldn't possibly look after a child because of these reasons.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. These are interesting comments. Not saying I'm agreeing with them, but they're definitely interesting. Katie chipped in. Kate said, I don't think it's selfishness. She said from the very beginning that she never wanted children, and she probably would never change her mind, and he chose to accept that. Yes.
Pretty much what we said, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And then there was an interesting conversation between two people on Facebook. So Amy and Liz got talking, because Amy commented she never wanted to get married, but she did, so she'll change her mind. And Liz said, why should she change her mind? Not all women want children. And then Amy replied and said, because it's Home and Away and they need storylines, so she'll change her mind and then they'll have fertility issues. She'll get moody, say she didn't want this anyway from the beginning, yada, 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 just my thoughts. So Amy's written a whole storyline about what she thinks is going to happen. So, yeah, there's a lot of opinions on the old kids or no kids. Lindsay said she didn't want kids from the beginning. Why can't these two just be happy as they are for a little while? Which is kind of what we said the other week. Like, why can't they just have a little bit of peace where nothing's going wrong?
What the problem here is, Tane's shown his hand.
Yes.
So we're not going to get peace.
No.
He's shown his hand, and that's going to eat away now at their relationship, because she's going to be feeling like he's settling. He's going to be saying he's all okay and slapping a plaster over the fact, and denying himself of what he really wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a matter of time, isn't it now?
And people are commenting on that. So Joe said Tane isn't innocent in all of this. She made it clear that she never wanted kids from the start. And lots of people are agreeing with Joe. But there's also people disagreeing and saying, but Kerry says maybe he thought she would change her mind. It always seems to be about her. He never seems to get out what he wants, and he should be with someone that wants a family. So, but if he did want to be with someone that wanted a family, why did he marry her? Because as everyone's saying, Belle's saying on Facebook, he knows that she doesn't want kids. She said it from the beginning. So lots of people remember that they had this conversation. Yeah. And she was looking for reassurance before they got married, saying, kids are in your future. I remember this conversation. He goes, yeah, I know, but you're enough. Like, that was the conversation that they had. And I don't agree with people saying, oh, but maybe he married her because she thought she would change her mind. Not a good reason to marry someone.
No, definitely.
If someone tells you, I don't want children, don't marry them thinking they will change their mind, because you're just wasting everyone's time, because they may not.
Yeah, and all involved are heading for heartbreak. It's more likely to be that he just wanted her at that moment. And he felt like he just would do and say anything because he wanted her, and he's let himself down as much as he has her, really. It's
bad for both of them, isn't it? I feel sorry for both of them, because she's been up front. I can't actually fault Flick on this at all. She has got her flaws. We've named them. We've said that she can be self-involved and self-absorbed, a little bit selfish, etc., etc. I don't think that's got anything to do with her decision to not have children. I think she just doesn't want to have children. She doesn't see them in her future, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah. And I can't fault her on this storyline, because she did tell him up front, I don't want children, so don't marry me if that's what you see in your future. I can't fault her.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Obviously, Tane, if he is thinking, oh, I'll just marry her and change her mind, that's a big ick. That's a big red flag to me. So take people as they state. Don't think you can manipulate them to change their mind. That's just not cool. But some people have already accepted that these two are on the road to divorce, because there's been a lot of talk about who Tane should pair up with. considering these two are still married, still buying a piece of land together. Some people have already, DIVORCE, like, seriously. So a lot of people are saying Mac should be with Tane. Teresa and Tina both saying Tane and Mac make more sense than Flick and Tane.
That got away.
Yeah, the one that got away. And even though she's brand new to the show, people are pairing him up with Harper as well, and saying he'd be a good fit with Harper. We don't even know if Harper wants to get married. We don't even know what her sexuality is. Like, we know nothing about this girl, but they want her to marry Tane and have babies. So it's just a bit mad. But
I have a feeling, though, that should he propose that, she might be tempted.
True, maybe. You'd have a think about it, wouldn't you? You'd have a think.
Yeah.
But we don't know. We don't know anything about Harper and whether she'd be interested at all. Who knows? So interesting. I think we'll see a lot of these comments rumbling on over the next few weeks. We'll have to see, like I say, if people change their mind as it goes on, because we've only seen the start of the story, I guess, so far. So the next topic of conversation is all the D's. Detective Dodgy and Dumb Dana. The D words. So yeah, dumb Dana. Unfortunately, it's just that name's sticking. Dana. I'm sorry. Oh dear, sticking. Everyone on the old social media is calling her dumb Dana.
Oh, God.
I did read a comment actually on I think it was on Facebook. Felicity, you know, not the Felicity, said they get good value for that big shed. You know, the big shed that the dodgy detective took Dana to.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, we've seen that before." And I thought, do you know what? I was thinking that I forgot to mention this to you on the main pod. Was that shed the same shed that the bikies used to hang out in, where Tani went there to when he had his little police wiretap thing on him?
Definitely possible. It looks similar, doesn't it,
It
actually?
does. I think they just shifted the furniture around, and I also think it might be the garage, but with the front door shut. Because we've never seen the garage door down, have we? Because when people drive up to the garage, that front entrance is always wide open, isn't it? And then the bikie hangout was fenced off, like the gate was shut, and this time it was shut as well, like the front door was shut, all the shutters were down. So I think it might be the same place,
Fair
and
dues.
they just moved the furniture around. I don't know.
Keen eye there, whoever said that. Very keen eye.
Yeah, it was Felicity, not the Felicity. So as I said, dumb Dana, the nickname is still rumbling on. David on Twitter saying she's not exactly mastermind material, is she?
Well, no.
No.
Don't need to be in these parts.
No, that's true. Although she's a nurse, you'd think she'd got some common sense, but there we go. If Yvonne,
Is that come through northern districts?
True. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, we can't take anything for granted on Home and Away. Yvonne on Twitter also said, "Why did you turn your back on someone? I really think Dana is the less intelligent of the sisters." That's quite a nice way of putting it, actually, not dumb Dana. Sharon says, "Exactly, why didn't she stab him with the stuff with the gloves on? Or, better still, make it look like he did it himself." She even waited ages to do the face recognition. The whole scene was codswallop, to be honest. Sharon's not mincing her words on there, is she?
No, definitely not.
Codswallop.
Blimey.
And actually, Sharon said there, like, why did she stab him with the stuff with the gloves on and make it look like he'd done it himself? A surprising number of people on social media actually wanted Dana to murder the detective's dodgy friend when he was knocked out on the floor. There's been lots of people saying, why didn't she tie him up and inject him? And I was like, because that would be murder, surely. You'd think about it, but you wouldn't actually do it, would you? Like, I think she should have tied him up and made him so that he couldn't escape, so that she could find the keys and give herself time to get out, not turn her back on him and rattle the padlock, because that's never going to get you out, is it?
No.
But
Do worry
injecting
about
him,
these viewers. I wouldn't like to be locked in
I
a shed.
know
You lot.
it's mad. So I think it was, Jenny French said she's a nurse. She could have given him the injection. Mary said, exactly, why didn't she inject him with the needle on the table? And Maggie said, I kept shouting at the TV, inject him, tie him up and inject him, murder him.
Could have tied him up, and then we could have had that whole thing, that they do on TV where they get the whatever they're injecting with in the needle, and then they flick it at the camera.
Oh yeah. I love that. Yeah.
With latex, stretching the latex glove on.
Oh yeah, definitely acting with the needle. Love that. Yes, but we might be calling dumb Dana, but Detective Dodgy, he's not as clever as he thinks he is either, because Jenny on Facebook made an observation that I totally missed, actually. So Jenny says, I'm being picky, but when Madden syringed Dana, he then put the syringe in the same hand as the arm that he jabbed. It's a clever person who could jab themselves with a syringe in the same arm as their hand. Okay, I'm a bit of a crime geek.
Bloody hell.
I didn't notice that, but you're right, Jenny. If you spotted that, you're right. It's not. I think anybody would have noticed that would have been a setup, wouldn't they? That's a bit dumb. Yeah, dumb Madden.
Spotted.
Well spotted. Yeah, definitely. And then lots of people obviously worried about Cash. So Suki says, I hope they give Cash his job back, because if it wasn't for him, Madden wouldn't have got arrested, which is true.
Yeah. I mean, he needs a good, slap on the wrist, though. He's breaking too many rules.
Yeah.
You can't go on like this, love.
No, it needs to be made an example of, doesn't he? He needs to face some consequences for stuff.
And, he's not doing my blood pressure any good.
No, true. Yeah, absolutely. Lorraine said, I just hope that Madden doesn't take Cash and everyone else down with him. So everyone's worried about Irene and what's going to happen to Cash. Lots of comments on that as well. But also some comments about Rose this week, and Rose getting on her high horse. You know, when she was sort of giving a bit of the old back chat to Cash and saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this. This was stupid."
Yeah, the day she
Uh,
turned purple once. Yeah, go on.
yeah. So
Yeah.
everyone's getting a bit annoyed with her. So Ebby on Facebook said, Cash is the senior cop here, but Rose is always preaching to him. She's starting to annoy me big time. And then with a big laughing emoji face. And then Tina said, Rose again, putting her nose in it. She's changed a lot lately. I used to like her, but not anymore. Ungrateful she is. Marley's a great partner, and she seemingly doesn't care about his feelings. Ooh, that was very...
Well, I'll put it to you. Who was it? Who said that?
Tina.
Tina, I put it to you. Is Marley such a great partner when he's rumbering and salsering with any old hen?
True. I'm not wanting to tell her about that. I don't think I'd tell her either, to be fair.
With not one, but two buttons undone.
What a hussy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Keep an eye on that one. Gosh, dark horse. Nina says, Rose shouldn't be talking about the crime scene with the victim's sister. Come on, script writers. That's true, actually. She did give Harper quite a lot of information, didn't she? That she probably shouldn't have just divulged immediately. Verbal diarrhea.
When you think about Eden, bless her's not allowed to know nada.
Yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it? That she just got verbal diarrhea, and then she's got the gall to give Cash the backlashing. Oh, yeah, bit strange. Rose and Cash definitely don't seem to have answered the one question that still remains, which I keep banging on about on Twitter, and nobody has any answers for me. So why? What the flipping heck is all this about? Why did this happen? Why did Detective Dodgy frame Dana? Why was he setting her up? How does he know Ollie? Why is he helping Ollie? Like, nobody can answer these questions, and I'm so annoyed. And two people this week have come back to me. They've already watched it at Ozpace, and they warned me that they were going to give me a spoiler, but the spoiler was no spoiler at all, because they were just like, yeah, we haven't got Scooby-Doo. What's going on?
You're joking. So we'd still know.
So it looks like it was all for nothing. We don't get to find out anything. So really, yeah. If anybody out there knows, even if it's a scriptwriter, was there a plan for this story? Where was it going?
If it's not revisited, that's sloppy. That
It is a bit, isn't it? So two people that have watched it at Ozpace. One of them was Farney, Emma. Hi, Emma.
Hello.
Yeah, both said, I've already watched this and I've got no idea what it was about. We didn't get any answers. So, I'm frustrated. Frustrated. And then I did laugh at this comment from Jamie on Twitter, because we had these conversations with John and Irene when Irene was telling him, oh, I did this thing and I could go to prison, and it's really bad and I'm a bit scared. And John, one of the things that John said was, a crime's a crime. Do you remember? And Jamie tweeted, a crime's a crime, says the former Summer Bay arsonist. You can't ever forget this. Poor John. I know you were ill, John, but we can't ever forget that you were an arsonist.
Was the tumour?
Or was it? Or was it? Did he just get caught and then blame it on that? Who knows?
His tits, that wasn't it?
It was so good. John the Hoodie was so good. So good. I want more of that. More fires, please, John. Anyway. Okay, let's move on. So Marley dancing. Got a few comments on this, not too many. Caroline on Facebook said, what on earth was that dance that Marley performed? Why did the ladies get all excited? It was ridiculous. He would have been laughed off the floor in the UK. It's so funny. And then Tracy replied saying, it must be some sort of Australian dance that clearly the ladies swoon over.
What?
I don't know.
Australian dance.
These comments crack me up. And then Helen said, I'm not sure he'd do well on Strictly. I think they've got Dancing in the Stars, haven't they? That's their version of Strictly, I think. So maybe he needs to get on there and prove that he could do.
What would you give him
What score would I give him? 0.
if he was on Strictly?
0. 0.
7.
No, 0. Sorry, anything more than that is just a lie. Jenny said, I thought he was going to take his shirt off. And then James said, it looked like a crab dance to me. And Anne said, Marley's dancing was a bit strange, LOL. Yeah, I think everyone's agreeing that Marley...
I think it's safe to say he didn't take a woman home that night.
No, or a man.
For anyone.
I don't think anyone with eyes went home with him that night. No, not at all. And then just to round off the week with a couple of comments that struck me as I was going through all the comments on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. Mark says, I wish Lyric would reform and get an album out for Christmas.
Did you pay him to do that because you want it's me Christmas present?
Maybe. And he got a surprisingly high number of angry emojis reacting to that comment.
Really sticking your neck above the parapet there, Mark.
And he wasn't the only one, because Belle also commented, I want Lyric back. They've really grown on me.
Jeez, wept. Well.
Oh dear. There you go. That's
have a
your
full minute of Lyric next week on the pod. Tune in.
A minute and 5 seconds. That'll do.
Thank you for listening. We will be back with more episode discussion from Summer Bay soon. Until then, join the discussion online at Coastal News Pod.